Julius Caesar was born on July 12th in the year 100 BCE. Caesar was born to the powerful Julian clan. His father was praetor and his mother came from a noble family.
Caesar spent most of his childhood studying. He was tutored by Marcus Antonius.
Caesar died when Caesar was 16, forcing Caesar to provide for his family.
His father's death forced him to provide for his family. He then became the high priest of Jupiter. This allowed Caesar to take control and gain social power in Rome. At the time, Sulla, the dictator of Rome, felt threatened by people who had lots of political and social power with opposite political views as him, such as Julius Caesar. Because of this, Sulla banished powerful people, such as Julius Caesar, but Caesar's sentence was lifted eventually due to his mother's nobility. Caesar lost his title, but he was allowed to return home to Rome. Without any way to provide for his family, Caesar turned towards the military. While he was in the military, he climbed up the ranks, and this was the start of Caesar's political career. Also, while he was in the military, Caesar aided Rome in the conquest of most of Europe. Caesar was rapidly gaining power on the political scene, and in 60 BCE, he campaigned and successfully achieved the title of consul. As consul, Caesar expanded Rome's control over Europe through his conquest of Gaul. This helped give him even more power. Also around 60 BCE, Caesar met Pompey and Crassus, and the three of them formed the first triumvirate, which was a group of 3 men who ruled Rome. However, there were tensions between Pompey and Julius Caesar, and in order to ease these tensions, Caesar married off his daughter, Julia, to Pompey in 59 BCE. In 54 BCE, Julia dies during childbirth. With her, the only link between Julius Caesar and Pompey dies as well. What was left of the first triumvirate was quickly destroyed after Crassus, the richest man in Rome, was defeated and captured by the Parthians in 53 BCE. And it is said by the Parthians that, quote, "And us Parthians, as some say, poured molten gold into his mouth in mockery." With rising tensions between Pompey and Caesar, Pompey takes the Senate into exile, signifying the beginning of a 4-year civil war between him and Caesar. Left with no other choice, Caesar takes his troops and crosses the Rubicon River into Rome, which according to Roman law was treason because his troops were supposed to lay down their arms before entering the city. Caesar eventually defeated Pompey in battle in 48 BCE in the Battle of Pharsalus, causing an end to the 4-year civil war and leading Pompey to flee to Egypt.
Caesar defeated Pompey in 48 BC in the Battle of Phosphorus, causing Pompey to flee to Egypt.
Without training, they lacked knowledge. Without knowledge, they lacked confidence. Without confidence, they lacked victory.
Caesar then went to Egypt himself, where there's a power struggle between Cleopatra and her brother Ptolemy. Upon arriving in Egypt, Ptolemy, hoping to gain Caesar's affection, had Pompey's head cut off and presented to Caesar. To Ptolemy's dismay, Caesar was infuriated at the realization that Pompey was dead. As a result, Ptolemy was executed on sight. With Ptolemy out of the picture, the stage was set for Cleopatra's rise to power. After that, Caesar had an affair with Cleopatra, resulting in them having a child. Upon Caesar's return to Rome, his popularity soared and he was elected for a second consulship. At this point, Caesar was the main political figure in Rome, and he had little opposition. With this, Caesar was able to successfully name himself permanent dictator of Rome. At the time, Caesar showed many signs of being corrupt, such as wearing the colors of royalty, having his name imprinted on Roman coins, and had statues built in his honor. Due to this, many members of the Senate began to oppose him, and this led to his eventual assassination. The Senate feared that he would name himself king or overthrow the Senate and rule as tyrant, and instilled fear in the Senate and led his motives for them to kill him. On the Ides of March 15th of 44 BCE, Caesar was assassinated on the Senate floor. Led by 2 Roman senators, along with 60 other Roman senators who feared Caesar's growing power, they led a conspiracy to kill him. Caesar was stabbed a total of 23 times, and it is said that the one in his chest was the fatal wound that killed him.
After Caesar was stabbed, he was left on the Senate floor to quickly bleed out and die.
And I have lived long enough, both in years and in accomplishment.
Days after the assassination of Julius Caesar, Mark Antony summoned the Senate and said that none of the assassins were to be punished, but that Caesar's rule would remain in place for the time being. The death of Julius Caesar ultimately led to the fall of the Roman Republic and the rise of the Roman Empire. Caesar is often thought of to be one of the greatest military minds in history, and he greatly influenced and set up the success of the Roman Empire.